This is the man helping men understand what it is that women crave in bed.
Stop watching. Do that to start with, and then we'll see what happens.
This is Stirling Cooper.
I am a retired, award-winning adult film star, and now I'm the world's best sex coach for men.
Stirling helped me with the length and the girth of my to get it bigger and longer. It has helped out immensely.
Men are way more like horny. Women are more perverted. I help guys just like you to transform their sex lives and make them the best lover that their woman has ever seen.
I'm a bit curious and skeptical at the same time.
May personally help me to how to control myself and just delay my ejaculation.
Can you be so amazing in bed that you make a woman orgasm in less than 5 minutes? And can you really increase your size?
So I've come to Dubai to meet Shidij, and I'm going to teach you the 4 things that you need to learn to become amazing in bed. The first thing you need to understand is how to increase your hormones, specifically hormones like testosterone, and more importantly, how to increase them and optimize them in a natural, safe, and healthy way. Let's see what you actually eat.
In the fridge.
Yeah, okay, so we've got Red Bull, all right? We've got, okay, I like the berries and I like the pineapple. That's not too bad. Not gonna do much for your testosterone, but fun fact, these things, pineapple, strawberry, absolutely make your jizz taste better for chicks. That's not an urban legend, that's actually real.
Yeah.
People can think of erectile dysfunction, not being able to get a reliable hard-on. Same way you have arteries in your heart, you have them in your, if they're clogged with arterial plaques, you're not gonna get a reliable boner. Pomegranate can help to, 1, clean out these arteries, and 2, it can help to provide you with more, like the building blocks for nitric oxide.
What's nitric oxide?
Nitric oxide, I'm glad you asked, is the thing that causes your body to dilate the blood vessels.
Where do I get the nitric oxide?
Beetroot. Beetroot is a fantastic source of nitrates, which your body will convert into nitric oxide. When it comes to testosterone, one of my favorite things to do is take 4 raw eggs, throw them into one of these bad boys, throw some vanilla protein powder in there, a little bit of water. I call that my boner shake. So you drink that the night before, slam that before bed, you wake up, your body's vitalized, you've got all the tea you need, and then you can rock your girl as well.
Is this the one you used to have before filming all your scenes?
Every scene I would have that before.
Amazing.
The second most important thing is learning how to communicate with a dominant masculine frame. This involves things like leading the sexual interaction, getting her into a submissive, orgasmic state of mind, and tapping into your true masculine dominance as a guy. She needs to feel safe with you.
True.
And ironically, the only way that a woman can truly feel safe around a man is if she knows that he has the capacity for violence. Does not mean be violent to her, but demonstrating the capacity for violence. Basically demonstrating physical dominance over her in some way. That means you playfully like throw her onto the bed. I'm not hurting her, I'm not like, you know, not dropping her on like the headboard. It's just a flat mattress and I'm picking her up, I'm throwing her down.
And there's a bed.
There's a bed, not the floor, right? Another practical example is, let's say you're in missionary position, you're on top of the woman, right? Simply grabbing her hands like this and placing them down by her side like that. If she actually struggled and wanted to get out of it, you wouldn't let her. That's, you know, bad, don't do that, right? You need to know when she's giving you these really like flashing red light no signals.
What do we need to look out for those flashing red signals?
Her eyes, like a look of like fear in her eyes, because she's like, you know, the nostrils flare up in her eyes. You're like, the face goes a bit white. Imagine that body language versus if you know, maybe pin her hands in like this, a look of like, of elation, of like delight coming over her face. Okay, these are the 2 polar opposites.
So there's verbal consent and non-verbal consent.
Exactly.
This is for us to figure out so that she doesn't have to even say no, we understand and we back off beforehand.
Bingo. That's a very good way of putting it. If she does not enjoy it, maybe you execute the technique not correctly. And there is technique. Let's say you go 2 steps forward, but you recognize you don't like it and you take that 1 step back. That builds trust. In her brain, she's like, oh, I didn't have to say something. He saw it on my face or in my body language, and he took a step back. Oh, that is the feeling she has in her body that moment. She's like, oh, I can relax around this guy. I'm safe. He's not gonna push me somewhere where I don't want to go. That's super important.
One way I do it is, I'm not gonna tell a girl every 2 minutes, are you okay, are you okay, are you okay? So what I do beforehand, once we get into it, is like, at any point in time you want me to stop, just let me know.
Exactly.
So she has at any point in time, she can be like, no, wait, stop, any of those words, the safe words, and I can just go back. Or if I just see, like, you know, she's going a bit like that, I can maybe like do a little bit of, let's say, hair pulling and spanking, and I can literally ask, do you like it? Rather than saying, I hope that didn't hurt. So one thing, I hope that didn't hurt, and one is like, do you like it?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
The framing is very different on both of those two. I think that's a very good, let's say, training wheels for a guy who's very new to this.
Right.
That would be fantastic training wheels.
Yeah.
Then when you're trying things like, let's say, spanking, let's say hair pulling, right? Pretty hard for me to demonstrate not having any hair.
Yeah.
But
I heard like you love getting a hair pulled.
I love it. There is an incorrect way to pull hair and a correct way to pull hair, right?
Okay.
The incorrect way to pull hair is to just like grab a tuft of it anywhere and just start yanking her head around. That's incorrect. The better way to do it is to come from the back up through the roots of the hair here and grab into a scrunch like this and pull in an upward direction like this. What you're actually doing is you're actually stimulating the same kind of neural pathways that a wolf would do with its cub, or like a cat would do with a kitten. When it's picking it up by the scruff of the neck, you're kind of doing the exact same thing, but to her, via her hair. It's like a mammalian response. It shouldn't cause a feeling of pain to her. True. It should cause a feeling of submission almost in her brain. It's like her hind brain will kick in. It'll be like this,
When do you introduce this?
There's two ways I introduce it. One, you can do it to start to feel for it during like kissing. So if I'm, we're making out like this, you can do it in the act of kissing very passionately. So you don't do it super strong, but you feel for it and see how she responds, engage.
Perfect.
Then when you're involved in sex, doggy style is a perfect opportunity for doing this. And there's so many different things you can layer into that too. This is all part of that frame of being dominant, masculine, and leading the sexual interaction. She's in doggy style, I can grab her hair like that. I'm moving her head and her kind of torso back towards me. That's a perfect opportunity for me to lean in and whisper some dirty talk in her ear, or give her kisses down the neck here, or or maybe like little nibbles along her traps here.
A lot of people have hang-ups around spanking a girl. When do you introduce that, and how hard do you go?
I would say it's always better to warm up and err on the side of caution, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing about spanking too. You don't want to go full force, even if you know she already likes strong spanking, let's say, right? It's a bad idea to start that way. If you warm her skin up, let's say, her butt cheeks or whatever, right? With like light taps, right? This is nothing. This is nothing. What that does is it brings all the blood to the skin first, so that then when you can start to be a bit more heavy-handed with it, it's not a sharp pain, it's more of a pleasurable, like spreading like physical sensation for her. What things like spanking do to a woman is it wakens up her nervous system. So when her nervous system is awake through something like spanking, everything else in her body becomes more sensitive. So her nipples become more sensitive, her clitoris becomes more sensitive, the nape of her neck becomes more sensitive. All these things become a lot more heightened. So that is kind of the underlying purpose of something like spanking, is to just switch on her nervous system to a higher degree. You can do it during like making out with her, like you're squeezing the cheeks, you're tapping a little bit, warming the blood up inconspicuously before you get to the act of sex. Then when you're in a doggy style, you can start cranking them up a little bit harder, right? A little bit harder. She's responding with like, not ow, right?
Alright, that's perfect. You mentioned the bit about dirty talk as well. Like,
dirty talk isn't necessarily like name calling. It can be as simple as giving instruction. Because that puts her in a submissive frame. So one of the things I like to use all the time is, you're only allowed to say 4 words to me right now, and that's either harder, softer, faster, or slower. There's a frame embedded in that, and that is, he's in charge. He's giving me instruction. He's leading. He's telling me what to do. These are all like very arousing states of mind for a woman to be in. Another really good phrase I like to use all the time is that this belongs to me now. Especially if she's your girlfriend, especially if she's your wife. Also, if it's kind of like your first or second interaction with a girl, that kind of shit is like water fountain level, like arousing for women. It's cocky, but it's also very dominant. The third thing I teach every man is how to optimize angles and positions. Now, what I want to get into is something a little bit more practical, but to show you, we're going to have to go into the bedroom.
The bedroom.
Don't worry, it's nothing. I'm not going to go there.
This is the fastest I've gone to the bedroom though. Like an hour in and we're like already in the bedroom.
Practically, 2 really simple things that guys can do to sort of spice up your basic sex positions. Right. And all you need is a pillow or 2, right? If I'm in regular missionary position, the angle of penetration is kind of down like this.
Correct.
Which isn't ideal for the female anatomy, actually. So, if we put a couple of pillows down, right? And we're putting These are going to go basically here on her. What that does is that moves her hips up.
Damn.
So rather than penetrating kind of down into her opening, I'm penetrating directly into the G-spot and stimulating it.
Yeah.
However, if you don't actually have pillows, what you could do instead is get her legs up on your shoulders and physically lift her hips up like that instead. And you're doing the exact same thing. The same principle applies in doggy style, right?
Yeah.
In doggy style, she's here. The angle of penetration is kind of straight. But again, if I get her to lay on top of these pillows, lifts her hips up a little bit more, and now I can kind of grind into that same part of the front of her vaginal wall into the G-spot. I can grind into it that way. That's two really basic adjustments to simple sex positions which make it way more likely you're going to get her to orgasm from penetration. And lastly, I teach guys very simple exercises that anyone can do that will help increase the size of your last longer in bed, get you stronger, more reliable erections, and obviously please your woman. What you're going to be doing right now is just a simple glute bridge.
Alright.
So what this is going to be working on is it's going to be working on, one, your glutes, right?
Yeah.
You need your glutes to do the primary thrusting, right, when we're having sex.
Yeah.
And the second thing it's going to do is actually going to build up your pelvic floor. Think of your pelvic floor as like a hammock, keeps your and everything like in place, like holds it all in place. And when that hammock is like weak, it causes your erections to be weak. It causes you to like drip pee out and stuff after you peed, like it's all kind of incontinence, all that kind of stuff. So if we keep that hammock nice and tight and strong, everything's good. So this is going to help with that, right? So the pelvic floor is basically that region between like your balls and your taint. That whole like region, like under here. Okay. Glute bridges are really simple. All you can do is like keep this half of your body flat on the ground. And you're just going to raise up your pelvic. Bang. You're kind of creating this like flat line. And you're going to kind of clench at the same time with your butt cheeks, right? So clenching through, hold for 3 seconds up there with the clenching, and then release it back down again. And then hip thrust up. Clench 3 seconds, bring it back down again, right? Now to add a little bit of extra complexity, extra intensity, extra strength into it, you can hold something between your thighs like that.
And with my knees, I grab it.
Hold it with your knees like that. So as you're doing a pelvic bridge again, you're just adding a little bit more stability and strength into it. You can kind of feel there's a little bit. There's just more work going on when you're holding something there between your legs.
In my adductors.
Yeah, exactly. So all this stuff is working simultaneously. And this is all the stuff that's involved when we're hip thrusting and having during sex, right? So you can do like 2 sets of 20.
2 sets of 20, 3 second holds.
3 seconds holds at the top. It's going to really help to strengthen all of that stuff. But this is actually really good for guys who aren't familiar, let's say, with like heavy lifts, like a deadlift or a squat. And it's also very, very good for lower back pain if you happen to have any lower back pain whatsoever. So it's a very easy way to introduce that stuff, to strengthen that region without risking injury with like heavy deadlifts or squats or something like that. Now, another really simple one everyone can do is what we call a Kegel. So Kegels are really easy to describe, but it's basically if you're going for a pee and you stop the pee from flowing. You ever done that before? That little clench, that is technically a Kegel. There's actually 2 different types of Kegels you can do. They're called, like, there's front Kegels and there's reverse Kegels. So think of it this way. If I am stopping the flow of pee, that is a regular Kegel, right? I'm doing a clenching, I'm doing a contraction, right? That helps with erection strength. Like a reverse Kegel is if you went to pee and you were forcing the pee to come out faster, that kind of pushing sensation. Have you ever done that? It's like, you kind of down here, you're pushing it out at a higher velocity. It's so much easier to describe these exercises in like, because guys have done this while they're peeing. So it's so much easier for them to visualize and know what to push, what muscles to move. That is a reverse Kegel. And that's the secret hidden benefit of those exercises is actually helping to make you last longer in bed. If you have premature ejaculation, if you come too quickly, typically you have a very tight pelvic floor. All these muscles down here are tight. And the reason that leads to premature ejaculation is because the tightening of those muscles is what happens when you orgasm. So think of it this way, it's like your gun is already half cocked. It's already pre-orgasmic. All the muscles down here are already ready to go. So you need to actually relax them. And that's what the reverse Kegel does, is that sort of pushing sensation actually causes
so you take it back first rather than like pushing.
You get a lot more control of that whole pelvic region which allows you to last a lot longer.
That makes sense. Final thing I think everyone's been waiting for. I've been waiting for it. How do I add an inch?
How
do I add that? Also here, I just want to preface, there's one doctor I spoke to. He's like, there is no way you can increase it.
Well, doctors will always say that. For one main reason is they don't want to get sued. Because people can do this stuff. You can absolutely like injure yourself. If you're a retard, if you do this kind of exercise, it's dangerous. This is a really interesting thing to bring up because it's not a case of like, oh, the more you push it, the better results you'll get. It's absolutely not that case. It's like a walking marathon. Yeah. It's not even a running marathon. Yeah. It's like you've got to do this stuff really, really slowly because your body can't adjust. What you're trying to do is cause like micro tears and like micro stretching in your basically.
Okay. Yeah, so basically it's try at your own risk.
Completely try your own risk. 100% try your own risk.
Yeah. None of us are going to be responsible for any shit.
Have you ever seen those African tribes where they extend their necks?
Yeah.
If I came to you, if you didn't even think of that as an example, if you just talk to someone on the street, be like, can you grow your neck? They'd be like, no, of course, that's just retarded. Of course you can't. Yeah. Well, we obviously know that's not the case. Yeah. It is possible.
Yeah.
Like, so these kind of, these
neck,
physiological,
earlobes.
Earlobe dilation, these physiological changes are possible, but they're done on a very, very long time frame and they're done very slowly and incrementally. Because if you do, especially, so there's the two things I'll cover right here. There's hanging and pumping, right? There's two really, really easy ones. So for example, with the hanging, right? The results are very dependent upon your body and how your body responds to things, right? It's not like a linear exact science. Yeah. You're not going to get the exact same results between two people. Yeah. Your starting point is different. All kinds of biological factors are different, right? But hanging, for example, is exactly what it sounds like. You're literally like attaching weights to the end of your schlong and letting it hang for an extended period of time. Okay. You actually only need like 10, 20 minutes a day maximum. Okay. It's not even that long.
What kind of weights are we talking about?
You start super, super light, half a pound.
Half a pound.
Super light.
And how do you tie it with like?
There's different devices you can get. There's one called the bib hanger, one called the Zen hanger. These are two different devices you can use that attach in a safe way without causing any blood restrictions and circulation issues or damage and stuff like that. But you start very, very lightly. Yeah. And over the course of like 2 weeks, then you ramp up the weight again by like a half a pound or a quarter of a pound. Yeah. Super slowly. And the point of this is you don't, because if you start with a really heavy weight, your body is going to like adapt quickly. Right. And you're not going to see any results, not just any gains. Yeah. So you need to very incrementally make your body adjust over a long period of time. Some guys can see up to 2 inches in length. Increases with just hanging. Yeah. But those gains will kind of cap. Within a couple of months, 2 to 3, about 3 months, you'll probably reach your cap. Okay. You can't go any further.
Does it go back as well?
Not with the hanging stuff, no. Okay. Because what you're trying to do is actually stretch the ligaments that are kind of attaching your shaft to you, and because there's a whole bunch of your is actually inside your body. Okay. And then there's stuff that's outside your body. So what we're trying to do with that is trying to get as much of the out of a body so it's there the whole time. You can see quick gains with that. Yeah. But they'll cap over time. Okay. You'll reach a certain limit where you won't see any more gains after. If you keep pushing it for like another 3 months and you don't see any gains, you've kind of reached your biological limit with that technique. Now, there's another technique called pumping. There's things that I recommend, like the bath mate is a very popular one. You can also use regular vacuum pumps. These actually have a double benefit. One, they actually help with your overall erection strength. Yeah. They can help with your sensitivity too, if you have sensitivity issues down there. Basically just increases your blood flow down there. Basically artificially causing to kind of expand beyond what it would normally expand to. There's a very fun side benefit to that is you can actually do pumping before you have sex with your missus. Oh. And your will naturally be larger for like a good 30 minutes.
So basically you put a pump on your and then you pump for a bit. How many minutes did you say? A couple of minutes?
10 minutes. Vacuum one, you can do it in the shower very easily. Okay. So you just strap it on in the shower, have a shower, and let it do its thing. Okay. Now, if you could do that 10 minutes a day, within like 8 months, you could see increases in not just the length, but also the girth. Now that you will have to maintain. If I'm reaching a certain gain, I want to do at least some kind of maintenance. Yeah. Every week, every 2 weeks, right? To keep those gains in there. Yeah. The pumping stuff is actually, especially with something like the bath mate, something it's actually incredibly safe, very, very hard to injure yourself, and it has a whole host of like additional benefits as well as that. But again, same thing, it's a game of patience. Yeah, yeah. And don't hurt yourself. Yeah. I think this is very insightful. Like I learned a lot of things. I've just got one last question. Like, I mean, do we really need to care about our size so much? You don't need to do it. Okay. That's the thing, you don't need to do it. And if he's got an insecurity about it, I'd rather give the guy hope and a solution. Yeah. So he's like, he doesn't need it. Yeah. But if you can get rid of that insecurity, happy days.
That's amazing.
Happy days.
All right. insightful. Guys, that's Stirling Cooper. I'm going to mention his channel, links, everything downstairs. And you've got a couple of products, something?
I got a bunch of ebooks, a bunch of video courses, so if you want to take a deeper dive, you can go check those out.
Yes. Check out Stirling's channel, check out his ebooks, check out all of that stuff. And if you love this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, you spank it, smash it, and demolish it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers. Thank you so much, brother.